So this is the Cooler Master MasterBox K501L. If you remember correctly, last time we actually did a review of the K501L as well, but this is the 2020 version and Cooler Master has made some updates and refresh to this case without changing the name. So let us find out what Cooler Master has done to this master box. First thing first, again, even after they refresh the case itself, they still use the same tagline, your angle of attack. I have no idea what does it mean, because I'm not even joking, it's written here, your angle of attack. I don't know if you can see it or not. Probably they are meaning that they have different angles of fan grills at the front over there, but let us just focus on the what kind of stuff they have changed. In terms of the exterior, the front panel is still the same design. You still get the different angle, crisscross kind of pattern to that. The side panel, now we got tempered glass. Well, as far as I know, the previous generation or the 2019 version also come with tempered glass edition. However, for us Malaysians, last time we only got the acrylic option. So now you got tempered glass. And what they have done to this tempered glass is also one of good thing is the screws are self-catching type, so you won't lose the screw, and the glass panel actually is slided in from the bottom here, so even if you like unscrew it, it won't just fall off immediately. Now just let us remove it. It is fairly thick. I believe it's a 4mm type of tempered glass. Good. So I'll just leave it somewhere else. Okay, before I move into the internals, the front I/O is still the same. We got two USB Type A ports. One of it is USB 2.0. It's year 2020. I believe Cooler Master can just give us double USB 3 instead of one of them being USB 2. And even though they don't give us USB Type C, I'm perfectly fine with it because this is a budget case, so I'm all good with that. And good thing is that you still get two separated 3.5mm audio jack for your microphone and headphone, so that's all good. As for the power button, it's a clicky type, not the type of buttons I like, but it's large and easy to click, and there's a ring light surrounding it for the power status. Other than that, the exterior is pretty much identical. If we look at the bottom here, you still get this, well, I'm not a big fan of this kind of fan filter for power supply. It is very difficult to put it back if I were to remove it. That's something to take note on. On the other side is pretty standard. Flat panels. Again, we got the self-catching screws for the side panel. Once we remove it, plenty of space for cable management. Now we already built a system inside the K501L RGB. If you miss out that video, check them out down in the description below. And you might notice that we have quite a little bit of hardware changes throughout the way, especially the cooler changes and the GPU. And you can see that even this case can even fit in a RTX 3090 Founders Edition. It is well known to be a thick and wide card, and you still got plenty of space in front over here. The front you can mount at 320mm fans. However, if you notice that the top part is not exactly fan friendly, because you see the fan grill at the front is just enough for 1.5 fans to take in cool air. Otherwise the top one would be like trying to sucking air out of nowhere. In terms of cooling, Cooler Master had made a huge change for the new K501L RGB, which is the top fan mounting option. So last time we can only mount up to 280mm radiator at the top. Now if you got 360mm, yes, you can fit it all the way here, and even come with this magnetized fan filters. And as for the clearance for the AIO, the clearance is not exactly that good, especially you might hit the VRM heatsink, and worst of all, you can straight away forget about push-pull configuration because the clearance for RAM is definitely not enough for push-pull. Another thing new with the K501 RGB is the power supply shroud over here. So last time, if you remember the 2019 version, there's no power supply shroud and all your cable mass is shown to everyone else over here. So this time you do get actually something to hide your cables. Okay, in this case, we have used the Cooler Master's V1200 watt power supply. This is a longer power supply, which means that we are forced to remove the hard drive cage because otherwise we won't have enough space for the cables to route through here. And I don't think this is an issue for most of you guys out there because this is a very long power supply, and if you can afford to buy this power supply, I believe you will get something bigger than this case. Now, speaking of the hard drive cage over here, the drive mounting options is still pretty open for you guys. Especially there are two 2.5-inch drive mounting options at the back of the motherboard tray, and there are two more on the top of the power supply shroud. And of course, we still haven't included the two caddies for your 2.5 or 3.5-inch drive caddy for that. One thing to take note, however, the accessory kit that comes with the case can only support like two 2.5-inch drives. That means if you were to mount two of them over here, you won't have enough screw and the rubber grommets for you to mount the extra two if you want to put two more 2.5-inch drive on top of the power supply shroud. As for the cable management, there are plenty of space for you to do that. Even we did a half job over here. It's like we just simply route everything through here and hide most of the cable at this compartment here. Power supply shroud is a good thing, and we still managed to like tie up the 24-pin motherboard power cable, and as well as these RGB cables over here. Plenty of space around here for you to cable manage. If you remember the first variant of the K501L, this time the motherboard tray is flat instead of slightly offset. I mean, it's still good, except you lose out some space over here, and there's still no rubber grommets for cable pass-through, so it's still alright because this case is just less than 200 ringgit. Oh yeah, and before I forget, the first version actually has a breakaway type of I/O shield over here for your expansion cards and everything. This time it is a reusable type. That means you just unscrew it, remove it, mount your GPU. When you upgrade your GPU, then you can still like change it apart and things goes better. It is still better if you use the reusable one. So in conclusion, the official price tag for the new Cooler Master MasterBox K501L RGB is 199 ringgit Malaysia. For the price, you're getting the case as well as two fans, one non-RGB and one RGB fan at the front. Unfortunately, the fan at the front is not ARGB, it's just RGB. Not too sure why. Cooler Master, you have a lot of ARGB products, so just do something with that. 199 ringgit is a fairly decent price because one thing I want to remind you is that they never change the price. They still remain the same price. They still call it K501L, and that brings us to the next thing: how to differentiate if you are buying the K501L 2019 version or the 2020 version for this one. So there are a couple of things, three things in fact. Number one, the power supply shroud. If there's a power supply shroud, it's 2020 version. Second thing is the top fan mounting options. If you can check the box, well, the top mounting says that it can mount 120, 240 and 360 fan, then yes, this is the new version. And lastly, the third one is, of course, the IO shield, because when you go to the physical shop, you can always check all these aspects of the case before you make your purchase decision. So unless you are buying from in online stores, then you might need to confirm with the merchant that's selling the case if they are selling the older model or the newer model. So that's our overview for the Cooler Master MasterBox K501L RGB. Do let us know what do you guys think about this case, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.